Welcome to Mindful Drawing. I'm Robert, and I'll be your guide in this meditation practice that enters a space of mindfulness through the act of drawing. And this week I thought we'd bring our meditation to creativity, to that act of bringing something from nothing. Maybe we do it for a need, right, to solve a problem. Maybe it's just for fun, the act of expressing ourselves, finding a medium with which we can change things in the world, bring that stuff, that creative energy, that creative idea, that desire to make something different out of the ether and into our reality. We are all creators. Whether you're good at one medium or another, drawing, making things, designing code, engineering, whatever way you begin to make in the world is not that important. It's not about good or bad, talented or struggling to learn, but that we practice that constant unfolding of life, the change of energy from one form to another, the moving about, the engagement in activity, the presence of stillness, all parts of our creative flow and energy. And hopefully today, like many of these exercises, we can tap into that a little bit, bring forth the something from that blank page, the emptiness that sits in front of us. Bring our attention to just here, just now, to holding the pen or pencil, to touching and engaging with the paper, to sitting, being present with our body, and unfolding an act of creation out in front of us. And that act can follow you anywhere you go, whether that's another doodle on a piece of paper while you're taking some time between things in the day, or writing an essay, coming up with new ideas, making a small model, or making a nice meal. Bring that creativity with you wherever you go, knowing it's already there. I'll use a mix of things today: pen, pencil, colored pencil, whatever kind of comes along as we work through the exercise. I sat down to sketch this morning. The ideas that came out seemed familiar, so we might have done something like this before in terms of its shape and figure and form, but each one's a new entering, a new experience, and we'll see where it takes us. Go ahead and gather your supplies, establish your space, and let's draw together. Some pen, some pencil, maybe some colored pencil. I think all of them will be a perfectly fine engagement with this. I sketched this out this morning in the shape and idea that came to me while trying to figure something else out. Looked interesting. I feel like I kind of remember something like it before, so maybe you'll recognize it, but I'm not sure. It's been a while and there's been a lot of these, so who knows which sketchbook or piece of paper these ideas existed in. A simple little warm-up introduction, more getting the hands and everything kind of ready to engage. So just wiggling the fingers a little bit, testing them out at different range of motion and speeds. Maybe rolling the wrists back and forth or around. Make sure all that stuff out there at the end of the chain is well lubricated and moving nicely as much as it can. Maybe a few pulses just to hit the end ranges of the motion, the nerves, the muscles. And let the palms lay gently on the table or whatever you're going to draw on the medium. Just a moment of noticing it, its texture, its temperature, its position, relationship to you. A couple of breaths there, listening to the speed of inhalation and exhalation, of just where they're at. Letting some attention come to those hands and fingers, and see if a couple of deep breaths can bring a little relaxation or looseness to them, even if it doesn't feel tense or tight. Sometimes there's always a little more in there if we bring our attention to it. And then really sink in to the table. And as you're ready, slowly bring them back in. Lift them up in a way that you notice the change. And find whatever tool you'd like to start with. Begin here with the pen, a little piece of scrap paper, something to get a sense of how the pen will move on the page and what we might look for. Initial idea and inspiration was just kind of a graph, a node, a network of things. And that could be many things. You could have a circle, a little square, a little whatever shape. Think about how they connect to one another across the page. They might do it in more fun, expressive ways, more roundabout ways, lots of ways, or more straightforward ways. If you go from their center to their center through space, you could branch off of the outside and sneak in along a path. Many ways to explore the connection of these nodes in the network, and kind of there in the middle. So I was sketching, as it unfolds again here, comes this nice little convergence of wires and lines, and maybe we don't need to see the network to draw the network. So we'll try to bring our attention there. A light arc or curve somewhere on the paper that can trace back over itself for a while and then head off anywhere else, any other direction. Repeating the process, these kind of bundled wires skirting around the edge of something. And they can have various lengths, directions, angles. If you make it all the way around, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those little shoots, you end up with a fun little relationship of an empty space in the center. Something we could bring some attention to, maybe a pencil coming in for shading, or something to distinguish that from what happens around it. Maybe interesting shapes on the outside that can take on a little graphic character, something to them. So that'll be our way of engaging the page. These little arcs that can branch from anywhere and end off in any new direction and start another expression of a moment in a connected field. And they can take all sorts of shapes and forms. Just take one journey out, follow it back in, and rebound in a nice, smooth, arcing way. We come all the way back around again. Do a bit of drawing nothing with something. We had a first few of these antinodes started anywhere on the page, big or small. We can shift around as we draw, play, and flex our attention, flex our hand, and flex the page. So we'll make the first one with a little bit of emptiness, a little bit of letting the hand and the eye do what they like to do. In your mind, just have the general movement and shape of that arc, paraboloid. And wherever feels right, make that first mark. Let it do whatever it does. Maybe it's smooth, maybe it wobbles, maybe it bends and redirects, or goes straight and direct. And like any of the connectors in the graph. And once it's there, we can take one end or the other, track along it, let the eye and the hand sync up a little bit, and then diverge and move on to another place. Spending some time noticing that retracing along. It doesn't need to be exact along it. Just following about the same path. Maybe leaving a little gap would be fun. Maybe overlapping is fun. As we notice that, an act that takes a little more direct attention, tracking a line, using the hand with the tool, with the eyes all together. You can also notice the inverse. When we leave that line and make a new mark out into the emptiness of the page, the freedom, is there a swoosh or a control? Fast or slow, what inclinations it brings to you. And as you make your way around over many numbers of these extensions or these converging rounded triangles, you start to build up. You may oscillate a little bit back and forth. We'll get a few of these moments going and then look at what they are on the inside, and maybe back to some moments. So any one of the tendrils, any one of the creases or ridges reaching out, you can follow it along and turn in a new direction. Continue that journey around. May play between more complex nodes, many extensions, more simple nodes, just a couple, 3 extensions. Bring some play and variety into that network. Some can diverge quickly and change the shape, some more evenly. Your attention, your eyes, your hand present, the tracing along, extending out and connecting to the guide to that pen or pencil, as much as you're taken on the journey by the engagement of the tool to the page. And as we work in various orientations, working around the shape, the hand gets bent, twisted, flexed, pushed, pulled, in all sorts of different ways. Notice the novel feelings in the wrist, in the fingers. Notice when it flows smoothly, easy to see in the alignment with the chain in the body. Notice when it becomes more challenging, perhaps working against the grain a little bit, perhaps hiding what you see on the page. The system is fairly free, fairly open, so whenever you get a little lost in there, get a little cramped up in the movement, you just turn and release out into the space and start another little track. Any one of the little branches creasing out into the universe of the paper, a new start potential. You can find your flow with it. Is it sequential as I've been working around each new emptiness? It could be sporadic, jumping from extension to extension, crease to crease, working back and forth across. You have a lot of paper, a lot of openness to explore. The size can flex to meet any condition, tight spaces. Just bring smaller marks, narrow spaces, redirect or allow for overlap. Anything you'd like to bring into the exploration. Can even begin to let the eyes soften quite a bit. Use them to direct along the following, but they release, become unnecessary, separated from the flow out into the paper. So they get a little softer, less precise and controlling. They may open us up a little to playfulness. Soften the hand a little bit. No need to be precisely following along the curve, just generally using it as a guide. No need to hold the pen or pencil tightly. Supple, connected, enough that you bring movement through your action to the tool. The tool feeds back through the action in the medium into your hand, bringing them closer together in a space. Connection. With a good series, a good collection of these antinodes, the emptiness between mark, between theme and line, forming on the page, we have a sense of the system can change, extend, expand, work its way through every layer of the drawing page. Continue on off the page, maybe even continue out into our mind and our imagination. We can come to it at any time want to explore a new connection, find a new void there in the center. Feel free to come back into that tool. I'm going to take a little diversion with the field set. Let my eyes drift over it, take in what is happening there. What do you see or not see? Are there shapes, figures, forms that you notice? And this may be where, yes, I see the nice arcs I've drawn, the pinch or the expansion. This may be where we decide to keep the system going. That is what you're drawn to in the network and the nodes. You may see the empty space between the actions, slowly punctured, creased, folded, each new instantiation. Or perhaps the little centralized void between each one, the figure itself not quite there. As your eyes scan and you notice what draws you in, take an instrument, pen, a pencil, same or different, and take a few moments to explore that. Perhaps a little highlighting and shading, perhaps nodes within nodes, anything that draws you in. See where it takes you. A drawing or a creative act, whether a doodle, a page, or a formal representation or documentation, a piece of work to be shown or displayed, whatever it might be, they all happen in layers. Layers of application, layers of techniques, layers of time. They don't always all happen at once. Layers of thinking in color, shapes and figures build into the whole. Those layers might be quite literal. You might put them on top of each other, do them in an order or a sequence. First, a sketch of an outline, the bounds, the territories of exploration, then fill, shading, change of territory from one to the other. Perhaps details, nodes, notes, new things living out those territories. Or they happen more sporadically. A little shape and interest draws the eye, pulls the attention in, layers and layers of detail, complexity and precision unfold in one space, one moment. And as the mind tires, or the energy flows out into the page, pull back, observe, translate, move to the next instantiation. Whether in the same work or on a new page, the layers build thinking. The layers build creation. Any little moment, any little act, every little choice with the tool, a new expression of something not there before, whether the thing in front of us looks like something or not. The relationship of forms, the figures, the colors, the tones create something unique to us, to that time and moment. The tools and methods we choose to explore them, they all come together. Noticing where you're drawn in to a depth of layering, or where the surface brings closer to the paper. The ripples on the water, the reflections, the shininess might attract the eye. The deeper inspection, a change over time, sees underneath. And what do you start to find in the act of the creating, in the artifact? You have a place of noticing, contemplation, a little meditation, cultivation of that self-awareness, things that drive you or attract you in, even if they're always different. An noticing moment. That's interesting. Builds up a sense of awareness to your aesthetic engagement with the world. Whether it comes from you, from others. It's how we process, perceive, and communicate. To keep playing the game of nodes. Nodes without center, nodes without form or figure. Nodes made from the influence of other forces. Each forming out in roughly the same way, a set of rules or guidelines, each taking on its own unique figure in relationship to its surroundings. Practice of variation, practice of play, and a practice of consistency. Following an idea. Seeing what it does. Being present enough to observe, extract, notice, translate, synthesize, and guide. A few minutes left. Keep growing the system. Looking for moments perhaps to be more playful. Things start to become more dense, more clustered on the page. Wiggle the lines a little bit more to react to their surroundings. As anything grows, the resources of space, food, or whatever it may be, become more complex in one area. Adapt, negotiate, explore outward. Play these games here in a nice, simple, safe and easy format. We can be more flexible and resilient when these games come up anytime. Take a couple of minutes to draw in the quiet, to look for new things in the space of that density, but for turning it more inward, continuing to grow the nodes, filling and filling till there's no space left, tracking and overlapping, or stepping back, allowing a little bit of that gap between to let things be what they are, and adding more layers to the system, to the visual language, to what you perceive and what you imagine. And take a couple of minutes and draw into it where the world is taking you. Slowly we perhaps realize and see that the layers can go on and on and on. Maybe they run their course, nothing left draws us in, there's nothing more to draw out. Wherever you find yourself with the drawing, recognize it, notice it. Some subjects attract, some subjects pass by. Bring your pen or pencil to rest for a moment. Bring your hands into a restful position, palms up, maybe off the page, near the page, wherever's comfortable. They've been holding inwards, let the weight of gravity hold them downwards a little bit. Just relaxing there in a neutral position, feeling maybe some of the difference, a little tension in one hand from holding the pen or pencil, maybe a little numbness or sleepiness in the other hand from sitting to the side. Take a couple of deep breaths, filling out space around you, letting it come in to your body and then exit, and exchange back and forth. Your body expands and fills a little more space. As a little bit of that space in the form of air enters the body. Well, as you feel ready, bring the hands together. Give them a little squeeze or a little press. A little roll together. And open your eyes and come back to your space. Enjoy the rest of your day. You never really know where the journey is going to go, where that 20 or 30 minutes of time given to just one act can take us in our own creative practice, can take us in our exploration of the experience of mindfulness. Each time may be a little bit different, and it's not a bad idea every once in a while to reflect on that, to just kind of observe it from the outside and make notes of how you perceived that time taken for yourself. You may make slight tweaks, but in the end, we're really only here for that one thing, to explore our creativity and be a little bit mindful of it and the time we do it. So whatever comes onto the paper, whatever emerges from that action, is just that expression of the moment. Maybe it's interesting to go farther, to go deeper, to go somewhere else, and maybe it lives only there on that page. Flip to the next one, change the screen, and see where the next action takes you. I thank you for joining, and if you like the exercises, please give it a thumbs up below, share with friends, and subscribe for new episodes of Mindful Drawing. They've been a little more sporadic recently with a lot of work stuff, but they keep rolling out, and there's plenty to go back into if you just found it. Whatever you do for the rest of the day or evening, I hope it's good. Draw well. Thank you.